Matt Foes, Regional Agronomist with 360 Yield Center here today, reporting from the cab. So out finally getting started on corn harvest, and it brings back some memories of a few years ago. So if you go back in your memory to the fall of 2009, many of you remember very good yields because of the cool summer, but also very wet corn throughout the fall, and quite honestly for some of us into the winter. And this year we're not quite in the same position, but it is trending towards a later and wetter harvest. So we're 2 weeks later than normal to get to the same harvest moisture. And for that reason, I'm thinking that if we're starting 2 weeks later as far as harvest, we're losing 2 weeks of residue breakdown. So with any cool summer, we end up with very good yields in general. And this is no exception. We've got very good yields coming out of the field, which means we have a lot of healthy plants, a lot of material to digest over the course of this winter. One of the things I'll urge you to do is keep in mind you want to jumpstart residue breakdown as quickly as possible. So this late harvest is going to cut short the amount that we get done this fall, and we may end up doing a lot of tillage later into the October, into November, and hopefully done by December. The amount of residue breakdown that's going to happen is going to be very small compared to a late September or first half of October window. With that in mind, aggressively manage that residue, because what we don't want to have happen, which happened in 2010, was a lot of residue in the surface profile, so in the top 4 to 6 inches, ended up tying up or immobilizing a lot of the nitrogen for the early growth of the corn plants. And as a result, as you know, kernel rows around are determined at V4 to V6. If we starve the plant for nitrogen at that point in time, and we don't try to place nitrogen or make sure there's plenty there, we'll end up with a smaller round ear. And this is exactly what happened in many cases in 2010, ending up in what we considered a little bit of a letdown on yield relative to 2009. So as I go across the field, I'm thinking about ways that I can slice and dice the residue. I want to get it incorporated as soon as I can do a good job getting it in. All these things will help jumpstart 2018 so we can get a good stand established and we can get a good early growth on those plants. So with that, some food for thought as you drive across the field, and be safe. Thank you.